Today we're taking you on our adventure to go look around the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial and some opera houses. So let's go explore.
So Michelle and I had the opportunity to tour this. Oh look, we're twins today. How cute. I don't even think I realized that. That's what you're saying. We're twins. So we had a chance to explore this a few years back. So we're just coming over here for a few minutes. It's something I think everybody that comes to Taipei needs to see at least once. We'll get some pictures. We want to get inside before they close though.
Before we get there, do you want to tell them a little bit about it?
How are you, hon? Oh, you're good. I just don't know what time they close this. Ooh, a few stairs involved. Probably an escalator or an elevator. To give you a size comparison, that's a full-grown person right there. So Michelle and I were just talking. We don't know how big he is compared to Abraham Lincoln, but he's pretty big. And then, if you pan up to the ceiling, you can see the Taiwan flag is there, or the star rather. And what happened, him and quote, and I was like, I don't know. Gotcha. And so Taiwan back in the day, just getting started. Tells the story. In 1945, when they came over, and how they dealt with all the different Formosas, changing its name. So Michelle and I just went over and talked to him, made sure we got our free, what are these little headsets? Yeah. So it's worth doing. It's free. It just costs a deposit of either your passport or 1,000 Chinese dollars. So, or Taiwanese dollars. So we're going to take you around and show you a little bit and just tell you some of the highlights that we know. Did you push it out, Michelle? Sure. Show our listeners how to do it.
Push the button, which number you want, and then you push play. Just like that.
I double push mine a couple times trying to learn it. Well, I didn't realize this, but in 1980, They were still under martial law. It was lifted around 1980, and really wasn't until the 1950s the U.S. really started getting involved in the China was happening at the time. And what this is showing is it's really interesting to watch how history's changing. When I came, even 20 years ago, it was still all about Chiang, Kai-shek, 70. They all just spoke about him and how he suffered and all they did, versus all these new people fighting for democracy and actually being able to free speech. So Taiwan's more free now than it ever has been to be able to talk about the government and their policies and how they want to do it. It's quite interesting. These guys were all in prison for a certain amount of time based on their belief of wanting to have a free China. And it was 2009 was the last time that these photos were taken, so it wasn't that long ago. We have to be careful of our own history. These are the women who helped try and get the political prisoners out through Amnesty International, etc. Amazing. Talk to us.
These paintings represent family members that were taken from their families. There's 4 groups of paintings. So the one on the left is showing that they weren't just individual people; they had a family. And then the picture on the right was how they died, like swollen feet. That one looks like bodies piled up together. Hands. I'm not sure what that one is.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting that this just was going on in 1980s to 2009. They were still imprisoning people who went against their local leaders, and I didn't know this, that they were trying to change it from basically a dictatorship to a republic, and that wasn't that long ago. You and I were both born, and I think we don't realize some of the political prisoners and the history and how we say that in the U.S. often about that, and realize it's closer than I think we all think, and hopefully we're supporting those who protect our freedom. So thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool hall, pretty tall, pretty big. So he was basically hiding out in a building this big. 71 days hiding out. This is 1989 is when this happened. Jin. So Michelle, when did he rule from? When did he rule Taiwan from? Basically 1950 to 1977.
1975.
75.
Year I was born.
So this is kind of what we're going to learn about, and how he oppressed the normal people of Taiwan, but brought a lot of economic development and change. So Taiwan really set themselves up in 1912 as an entity, as a country, but until 1946, when Japan was kicked out after World War II, did they actually become their own independent group. And then that was the rise in power and the change from Chiang, Kai-shek. He kind of took control and charge of the people and created a constitution.
씨가 오래 살았거든요. 장수에서 몇 살까지 사시는지 아세요? 160세까지 엄청 오래 살았어요. 이분도 89세였는데 그분이 더 오래 살았어요.
What are you learning? It's kind of a cool little museum. It's really good for those who are interested in history, especially modern history, not ancient history, right?
Yeah, it's really not that long ago.
And how the UN can vote people out and kind of messed that up in 1972. And it's just interesting. So Michelle and I are just finishing up the audio tour. We highly recommend it.
Very informative.
Yeah, and you could spend literally 5 hours maybe here if you want to and go deep dive everything. If you're a casual observer like we were today, we've done this before. We did this back in the mid-2000s. And change, they've got some cool, different exhibits and some fun stuff like that, but definitely something you could spend more time doing than we did today. We're going to go outside and do some more tours and turn in our audio sets, but definitely World War II history buff, early like country development buff. This is really modern and it's kind of fun to listen to, and some of the struggles I went through. Is that interesting as somebody who's not big into
I
Taiwan?
am not a big history buff, but I still found it very interesting.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And just as far as not necessarily, I'm the Taiwan, China history kind of geek on our group. Still useful, and I think you like the artwork.
Yeah, I like the artwork the best.
They did some really neat modern pieces. So we're going to go outside and watch the changing of the colors.
Changing of the colors.
Here's a miniature model of the oaks. It's kind of fun. Here's our, we don't have a drone. Here's our drone approach. It's very cool. There is a banking service at a post office. That's good to know. Just coming back out. I think we're on the wrong side though from where we want to be. But this is a huge monument. I mean, it's girth and size. And it's kind of hard to understand how big it is. So you can really grasp. Here comes Michelle. Give you an idea of how big it is. is. Michelle's on the screen and now the top of it. Michelle, how big is it? It's a big door.
I know the whole thing is 250,000 square meters.
Oh yeah? How many feet? What?
It said it stood 40,000 meters up here.
40,000 meters? That can't be right. I don't know what it is.
250 was the whole square.
We're gonna have to do some Google backup research on this one.
Go back and read the sign. I already forgot.
No, it's a lot to do, a lot to think of. It's a pretty cool square, pretty peaceful. Forget that you're in the middle of a crazy busy city.
They started building it right after his death, and it was completed 5 years later.
That's kind of cool.
Used to build it.
Well, looks like we're gonna see this. Do you want to stand on the stairs and watch it, or try and sneak in? The beautiful sunset, something we didn't see a lot of as missionaries all the time. Oh, they don't want you on that side. Well, that might be where they come in. Control up and down. Yourself, pretty cool. Kind of fun. Pretty big.
Washington.
Yeah.
Changing the guards out there.
Pretty big building behind us, and then we'll go out and look at the two opera houses. Or I think they're both called opera houses, even though theaters maybe. National Theater. And how big that is. That's it. We followed the right group. Just so that when it unfurls, it doesn't hit the ground. That's why they tucked it up in there. Oh, they had some elastic type band or something on their hand that was ceremonial. I know you can hear. So if you can see, they're standing side by side. That's just one in front, one in back, with the memorial building right there. And a full 360. And their gate right there. Michelle, I think, is telling me to follow her. So she just went in the bottom of number 2 building. And she's now waving me off. What did that sign say? A lot warmer out here out of the wind. How tall these are. Looks like it's closed. I would guess there's not an entrance. I dare you to pull. She still didn't try and open the door. Thanks for joining us on the adventure of Chiang Kai-shek Memorial, Opera Houses, changing of the guards.
Very fun. You can come and spend all day or just a couple hours, whatever your heart desires.
Yeah, it was really easy to check out the hearing devices, or translation devices, whatever.
You do need to leave a deposit.
Either a passport or 1,000 NTD, which I think we mentioned. And also the changing of the guards was kind of fun. We got to see the last showing, I guess. I don't know what they'd call it. But they took down their flag, and it was kind of interesting to see the different way that was done in a new country.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how they were going to do it, but it was interesting. They rolled it up like a scroll, like you mentioned.
And then they carried it with them like over their shoulder. It was kind of fun. Yeah, so it was a fun adventure, fun day. And remember,
you got this.